Despite what we've been told through social media and mainstream media and the enforced social norms, sometimes it is okay to be a judgmental prick. And who am I to say such a thing? Who are you to cast judgment on this? Well, judge for yourself. I'm Kadrick Olson, author of Runes for Transformation and founder of Galdracraft. For the past 30 years, I've been studying Norse mysticism and the Norse literature so that I can pull out the best of practices from the ancient rune masters and bring forward their secrets to you in the 21st century so that you can have music, magic, transformation in your lives. Now, if we look to the Havamal, one of the sacred texts of the Old Norse, which I'm sure you are familiar with, stanza 124, I'm going to look at my notes here, basically says something along the lines of, when you can speak your mind to another, then friendship is shared, and that he's not a friend whose words are always kind and nice. This means that sometimes we need to rely on the critical evaluation of those closest to us in which to better ourselves. And if we're only hearing happy, nice, wonderful, good things about ourselves, then we don't know the things about ourselves that can improve, that we can change upon. So what does that have to do with you and your judgmental sense? Well, you have to realize that every single human brain on this planet is hardwired to judge. That's what we do. When you come across a table, you know that that table is meant to set something on and should be able to hold the weight of something that you put on it. When you come across a chair, you prejudge the image of that chair by the patterns embedded in your mind that that's something that should be able to support your body weight, that you could sit and rest upon. This is prejudging what you do, and it's normal to do that. This is what's called prejudice, and we are all naturally programmed to be prejudiced to the situations, to objects, to people. But it's what you do when you prejudge which determines how you come across to others. There's a certain sense of wisdom that comes across with your judgmental behavior. And when we hear from others, hey, don't judge me, man. Hey, man, I don't want to be judged. What they're really saying is that they don't want to hear negative, critical opinions set towards them. They don't want to be the receiver of negative criticism. I know negative criticism is a bit redundant, but that's what they're saying. And it's okay to respect that. You know, if someone says, hey, don't judge me, I think it's okay to respect that they don't want to hear negative criticism. But a person who is unwilling to hear anything negative about themselves will never grow. They'll never transform. They'll never change because they think they're fine. They're hunky-dory. They're dandy. They're good. And so we do have, in a sense, a permission to say to the friends, the family, the people closest to us, saying, hey, guys, you know, this isn't really cool that you're doing. But there needs to be a certain sense of wisdom that comes with this. You can't just go up to somebody with hair in a different color that you don't like and say, hey, you're a fuck-ass because you have green hair. That's not cool. When it's okay to be a judgmental prick is you have to have two criteria. There are two things that need to happen first so that you can approach being a judgmental prick with wisdom and maintaining friv. And friv is an Old Norse concept of keeping the peace between friends. And I think if you're going to be a wise person and present yourself in the world with wisdom, friv is a normal part of that wisdom that comes across. So what's this critical, imperative thing that you need to do whenever you have a situation where you are recognizing that you are being judgmental? I call it the shit mirror. And the shit mirror basically means is if you are triggered into a negatively critical state about someone, when you have a negative opinion, a sharply negative opinion about someone, that's because you have something going on inside you that needs to be addressed. Remember the perception principle from another video that we talked about? Meaning that you can only perceive that which you already have within you? Well, that works here with the shit mirror test, and it's a test. If you're out in the world and you see somebody with funky hair color, and you want to go, what the hell is wrong with you? Stop. That's the shit mirror presenting itself to you to take a moment to look inside and find out exactly what it is that's getting triggered. Why do you not like that person's hair color? Why do you not like that other person's behavior? Why do you not like something about what that other person is doing, no matter what it is that they're doing? What is it about that other person that is triggering you inside? The thing that you need to realize about the shadow side that we all have, is that when the shadow inside wants to be addressed, when the shadows inside have something to say to you, they will project themselves outward onto other people. When you are ready to deal with something inside that you haven't dealt with, you're going to recognize that shit in someone else in the world outside around you. And this is your opportunity to stop and say, hey, what is this triggering? Is this some sort of insecurity that I have? Is this some sort of vulnerability that I have? And you need to be honest. No one else in the world needs to know what that insecurity is, what that vulnerability is. No one else in the world needs to know what is getting triggered inside you. But you damn well better take a moment to stop and say to yourself, what's going on inside? This is what strength is. Remember, this chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Armor is only as strong as the weakest plate. The body, the human body, is only as strong as its weakest muscle. And you are only as strong as your weakest shadow. And this shit mirror test is telling you, you have a weak link. You have a chink in your armor. You have something inside that needs to be addressed, and you're not as strong as you need to be. If you want to cast harsh, sharp, negative judgment against somebody out in the world who is causing no harm, who's doing nothing to you, this is your opportunity to strengthen yourself inside, to become a better person and a stronger person. This is the shadow inside saying, hey, take a look at me. This is something that needs to go on. Now, if you've done this work, if you're recognizing the shit mirror test, and you've gone inside, and you've addressed the shadow, and you've shored up your armor, and you go out into the world, and you see somebody behaving in a way that is causing harm to someone else, or damage to property, or they are doing something that is detrimental to others, then it is up to you to stand up and be the judgmental prick and say, hey, fuck ass, what the hell are you doing? Cut the shit. If you're on a bus and you see some guy mercilessly hitting on a woman who has clearly said, dude, I don't want any more of this. No, I'm done. Get triggered. Stand up and say, hey man, cut it out. She said no. Stop it. If you see somebody who's being harassed because, I don't know, they're gay, they're transsexual, they're wearing some funky clothes, and you're getting triggered because they're being harassed for who they are, then yeah, it's okay to be a judgmental prick and say, hey, dudes, cut the shit. That's not okay. Because what does the Havamal tell us? A little bit later on in the Havamal, we hear that if you know that someone is being evil, then you say so. And if you know if that one is evil, then you need to speak of that evil. So the Havamal tells us 2 different times. First of all, you can't be a friend if you're only saying nice things to somebody. And second of all, if you see some shit going on in the world, then it's up to you to stand up and let everyone know that this shit's going on and it's got to stop. But you have to do it wisely. And the only way that you can do this wisely from a position of true strength is if you've taken the shit mirror test and you've worked on your stuff inside and you've fixed your armor and you've strengthened your muscles inside through the shit mirror test. Then you are the wise warrior that can go out into the world and be the judgmental prick that the world needs you to be. I hope you work on this. I'm not perfect. I still get my triggers. I have my time where I have to sit and go, hey, what's going on? What do I need to learn about myself? So I'm not perfect on this, and this is still something I'm working on. And I invite you to take the shit mirror test and work on this with me too. And to that, I say hail to you, and may you be the strongest person you ever can be, knowing how to do the shit mirror test. Thank you.